Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Collar Beer Gentleman. I'm Topher and I started this channel because I'm a fan of craft beer, but I'm on a limited budget. And I wanted to demonstrate it was possible to enjoy good quality beers without having to break the bank, so the beers that I review on this channel usually come in around the $2 price range. And that's not particularly far off the mark on this particular beer. Quick summation, through Instagram I was able to score a really great deal of 15 beers for $55 from the guys at Liquor Lineup on Losee Road in North Las Vegas. Check those guys up, Liquor Lineup. Check those guys out. Liquor Lineup, Losee Road, North Las Vegas. But anyway, each of these beers that I got from him was a pint can, so each beer equaled out to about $3.67. Um, so that's a hell of a deal as I see it, and considering these are some really good beers that I got from him, including today's selection. Today's selection it comes from a San Diego brewer with which I have some familiarity, but not a great deal. I've actually had three different beers from this brewer, and with an average score I've given them of 3.5. So obviously I gave them higher than average marks. Today's selection is the Participation Trophy IPA from Mason Ale Works, and they are out of San Marcos, which is San Diego, California. And for those of us here on the West Coast, San Diego is the motherland. If you grew up in the Midwest like I did, Milwaukee was the beer motherland. But here in the West Coast, San Diego is definitely the beer motherland. I don't know if it's still the case, but as recently as 2014, San Diego County had more breweries per square mile than any other county in the Union. So there you have it. Um, but as I said, this is the Mason Ale Works. Mason Ale Works is out of San Diego. They're great brewers. Uh, given gave each of their giving their three beers an average score of 3.5. Want to show you one more thing? Independent craft label here. Very, very important. I put my faith in that. I know some of you don't. I'm not quite certain what the problem with that label is. If you are somebody who has a problem with that label and believes it to be less than genuine, please write me in the comments and let me know what the problem with that is. Because to my knowledge and what I've been reading about them, they seem definitely on the level, and I feel very good buying a beer that has that label on it. Now, just because a beer doesn't have that label on it doesn't mean that they're not an independent craft brewer, but you can always feel confident buying a beer from a brewer that has that label on their can or bottle. So, I'm gonna go ahead and crack this bad boy open. Don't know if I mentioned before, but this has a 6.9 ABV. Typically, American IPAs come in between 5.5 and 7.5. So it's maybe like at the high-ish end, but not the higher end of the scale. Going to be using my Stone stemmed IPA glass. Another San Diego brewer known for making lots and lots of IPAs. Seem absolutely perfect. And this is pouring. Well, guys, what you're seeing on the camera so far, I'm going to describe as being at least one shade darker than the beer itself, maybe even two. You're seeing more of a copper. This is actually closer to to a nice golden or even a brassy color. You're seeing more of a bronze or even an amber, it looks like in the camera. Lots and lots of carbonation in this, Pilsner-like carbonation, in fact. I'm going to describe it as medium-high carbonation. It's not crazy carbonation, but there's good strong carbonation. As you can see, that head is very, very flimsy. In fact, I imagine the next couple of minutes it's not going to have a head at all. Going to give it a quick beard wipe, see what I come across. Hops, definitely. A couple of things I failed to mention, and I should not right now. Zero of my friends on Untappd have reviewed this. It's only had 22, is that right? 22? Yeah, 22 rankings on Untappd, giving it a cumulative score of 3.81, so it does have high marks. Absolutely no rankings on Beer Advocate whatsoever. So I think this is a fairly new beer. So I'm gonna quit yapping my flap and get to drinking some beer. Cheers. All right, first impressions. Very low mouthfeel. Absolutely no spikiness to this whatsoever, um, and actually no alcohol burn at all. Hmm. You know, I hate to make light of this, but I do think there's a reason this is called Participation Trophy IPA. It's not particularly noteworthy. I'm tasting hops. I'm tasting hop juice. I'm tasting the bitterness that comes from hop juice. There's not a whole lot more to be said. I don't think even they say anything about this beer on it. And when I went to the website, I didn't really find much about it at all. So yeah, I'm not. This is not a splendiferous beer. I've had better beers from Mason Ale Works, and I'm not loving this. It's okay. I think actually the beer itself really deserves nothing more than a 2.5, honestly. It's just there's no character to it whatsoever. It's it's hoppy, but my God, this is. I'm sorry, guys. I cannot endorse this beer. I can endorse your brewery, but I can't endorse this beer. I feel like it's really. I feel like it's lacking. I feel like it's lacking in character. I feel like it's lacking in depth. I put it to you this way: if I had a friend who was a home brewer and this was their first IPA, I'd say, "Hey, man, good work." But where are we going from there? In an oversaturated market with a variety that is just there's way too many of. Unless this is sold at a really discounted rate, um, yeah, I think that's all that this beer really deserves is a participation trophy. So, that's about it. Not impressed with the beer. Beer gets a 2.5, came in a can, so it gets that extra 0.25. When I go to score this on Untapped, I'm going to give it a 2.75, but not not crazy about this beer at all. So, sorry, there's other beers from Mason that you should be drinking, and this is not one of them. Um, so, well, you can't always knock it out of the park, and there's I want to say there's nothing wrong with this beer, but actually there is because it's not, despite all this carbonation, it's not particularly effervescent. As I said, there's no character to it. There's no distinguishing features. It's not great. So I don't know what to tell you. It wasn't a great beer, but I do think they're a better brewery than this, and this is just I guess the name says it all. Participation trophy. Well, guys, if you like this view, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, drink good beer and don't break the bank doing it. Cheers.